we really appreciate you coming down here. And we will start with a couple of videos as people are getting settled in for first 4 minutes. And we'll start our presentation right at the 4 o'clock mark. But thank you so much for coming down. We are really excited to talk to you for next hour and 15 minutes. And we will have some time afterwards for Q&A if you'd like to have some chat with us. So let's roll a couple of videos here.
Stade de France, host to the World Cup and the 2024 Summer Olympics.
Donc les millions de personnes qui arrivent au Stade de France fournissent des données personnelles. Nous nous appuyons sur les outils Microsoft pour sécuriser tout ce qui est donné à caractère confidentiel.
Stade de France provides security in the stadium and in the cloud.
Nelite est aujourd'hui le partenaire de confiance du Stade de France, qui l'accompagne dans toute sa transformation vers le cloud.
La force de Microsoft est vraiment d'ajouter une couche de sécurité importante qui répond à la fois aux attaques et aux réglementations européennes.
Privacy and trust are essential.
Nous avons utilisé deux principales solutions pour répondre aux exigences de la régulation GDPR, qui sont Compliance Manager et AIP.
In the post-GDPR era, compliance and security go hand in hand.
Microsoft est à l'écoute, est au cœur de la transformation des entreprises.
So that was our customer, Stadium de France. And as you see, the highlight there was post-GDPR, the data security and privacy and compliance go hand in hand. So we're going to talk about Compliance Manager as a tool that you can use to manage all those aspects. But before we start our main session, I quickly wanted to show this special video. Abrona is our special customer. They take care of people who have special needs. And we were touched when they were able to use Compliance Manager to manage their GDPR requirements, which directly help them to take care of the people who have special needs. So let's roll a quick video, minute video for Abrona.
Abrona is een instelling voor verstandelijk gehandicapten. Er zijn circa 1500 cliënten, zorgen we dagelijks voor.
Een zorginstelling loopt, nou ja, laat ik het zeggen, best achter qua technologie. En dus dan moeten we ook in alles gaan voldoen aan de privacy.
En wij geloven in de tools die Microsoft aanbiedt, dat die het verschil kunnen maken.
Healthcare organizations by default care for the most vulnerable people in the society. And they want to do this with this real deep respect for their privacy. So GDPR helps them respect this.
We use technologies like Windows 10, Office 365. We secure the workspace so people are able to collaborate in a secure and safe way with enterprise mobility. Abrona is een zorgorganisatie. Wil maximale zorg en focus op cliënt hebben. Daar past Microsoft 365 technologie uitstekend bij.
So that was Abrona. And if you see here, we have a lot of people that are behind the product here, Compliance Manager. But what motivates us, what keeps going us, is not that what we ship cool feature. That's not important. But when our customers, like you, able to use our features and make an impact for your business, that's what keeps us going. So today we are going to talk about a lot of features that will be helping you. I'm Om Vaiti. I'm a principal program manager leading the engineering team that ships Compliance Manager and Service Trust Portal. Scott?
Thanks, Om. I'm Scott Schnall. I'm a senior program manager on the Office 365 Trust team, where I develop a lot of the content in Compliance Manager and the Service Trust Portal that you're going to see today. That's fine.
Tina?
Oh, so my name is Tina Ying. I'm the product marketing manager for Compliance Manager.
And last, I'm Francois van Hemert out of the Netherlands, Europe, and I work out of a team called the Center of Excellence, working with our partners to implement Compliance Manager at their customers.
So what we are going to talk about today, we are today talking about Compliance Manager as a feature set, what is available for you today. Just of show of hands, how many people have actually used Compliance Manager? There are some of you, so really encouraged to see that, and some of you are new. And for those who are using Compliance Manager, we would really appreciate your feedback when we do Q&A. But those who have not used Compliance Manager, you will see how we are bringing a lot of functionality in Compliance Manager. And for those who have started using Compliance Manager, we have a specific section of our presentation that will talk about our future roadmap, how we are creating a roadmap with easy buttons. So we started with Compliance Manager as a base, and we are going to start in adding automation and intelligence in Compliance Manager, and you will see some of the glimpse of that. And what we hope that you will take away, for those who have not used Compliance Manager, we hope you start using Compliance Manager and start giving us the feedback. And especially for those who are in need of various information for risk assessment or audits, we will walk you through use of Service Trust Portal, and hopefully at the end of this session, you will be able to use those tools and make the best of use and reduce your cost of compliance. Tina?
Yeah. So before we dive into the product session, I want to do a quick exercise with you. So if you are paying attention here, please take out your phone. And then please help me to unlock your phone. And raise your hand once you unlock your phone. Okay. And so when you're ready, pass your phone to the person sitting next to you. How do you feel about this? Yeah, so this is exact the feeling when your organization, they move the data into Microsoft Cloud. It's basically the feeling of passing your phone to a stranger. You will feel anxious about whether Microsoft will have access to my data, whether they will be able to see my sensitive information. And then so that's why we want to build a trusted cloud, because we know trust is not a brand, it's an action. And so today, the tool we are going to share with you is our action to prove to you that we want to be transparent to you, that you can trust our cloud, embrace our technology. And then, sorry, my clicker. And then we know there are a lot of benefits for moving to cloud. And one of the biggest benefits we talk about is shared responsibility model. So when your data is on premises, then you need to take full responsibility to protect your data, including physical security, host infrastructure, all the way to data classification. But when you move your data to cloud, like a service as a software as a service, then cloud service provider like Microsoft help you to take care of majority of the control. So we have our security control for physical security, for infrastructure, for network. And we also share responsibility with you to protect your data, including the access control and endpoint protection control. And you will need to classify your data and have additional protection on those sensitive information that you identify in your tenant environment. And when I do presentation in different countries, a lot of customers ask me, hey, it's still very vague for me. Like, what is your responsibility? What are some of the concrete examples you can share with me? And here is one of the concrete examples. This is one of the biggest and most stringent security control, NIST 853 framework. That among NIST 853, there are more than 1,000 controls. And then if you move to cloud, Microsoft help you to take care of 79% of those controls. And then as a customer, as an organization using Microsoft Cloud, you only need to allocate and focus your resources on the remaining 21% of the control. And just to give you more example, so for example, for the access control, access to your production environment, Microsoft have control in place to make sure we don't have standing access to all your data. We have logbox system. If we need to troubleshooting some of the issues in your environment, we need to access your data. We have logbox system to track and log all the action we take, and you can have an audit on our action. And then for your control of access to production environment, we give you tools like customer logbox. We give you tools like Azure Active Directory conditional access to help you to improve your access control to your production environment, making sure only the right user can access to the right data. A second example of shared responsibility model is protection. It's about encryption. So as a cloud service provider, Microsoft provides you baseline encryption, including BitLocker at rest and service encryption at rest, and also the TLS encryption for the data in transit. And if you want to apply additional encryption policy to those sensitive, the most important data in your environment, we also give you tools like Office message encryption or customer key for you to meet your compliance obligations. Lastly, the last example I want to talk about here is about personnel control, because we know compliance obligations include a lot of people and process control, and this is one of the most important ones, that you need to screen your employee, you need to give them appropriate training and have an appropriate privacy program in place. So this is the shared responsibility model. From this pie chart, you can see if you can take advantage of those 79% control that Microsoft help you with, then it's a lot of benefit for you. You can save a lot of costs and benefit and efforts. But then how can you know how Microsoft helped to implement and tested those controls that is under our responsibility? If you can see that it's a black hole, it's not a benefit for you. And then so here we provide you to perform risk assessment to let you know how Microsoft implement control for this 79% of our responsibility. And then a lot of people say, oh, I'm not in a regulated industry. I don't need to perform risk assessment. Like only people in healthcare industry, financial services industry, or government industry, they think they have a lot of compliance obligation. But then in this 2 years, we saw that things change. There are a lot of new regulations coming up, like the GDPR, that any business with EU customer, they will need to comply with GDPR. And then this year, we also heard about privacy, the California Privacy Act and Brazilian GDPR that just come up, that Brazil is gonna have their own GDPR regulation. And so the regulation and data privacy and protection areas keep changing. There are more and more new regulations coming up in the future. So here, we really encourage organizations to start to have their own compliance program, even though you don't have EU customer, even though you are not in the regulated industry. If you have a compliance program in place, if you can meet the high standard, like NIST 853 or GDPR, then you will be able to keep up with those ever-changing compliance landscape more easily. When there's new regulation come up, then you will be able to easily adjust your compliance program and meet those new data protection standards. Another question we also encounter a lot is, when do I need to perform risk assessment? There are several scenarios here. The first scenario, obviously, is like before you purchase a cloud services or any on-premise services you use, you need to perform a risk assessment to know whether it meets your compliance requirements. If you are already using cloud, it's also very important for you to do an annual health check. It's like our health as well. Like we need to do an annual health check to know whether there's anything happening in our body. And then so in organization, we encourage you to perform an annual risk assessment to know whether your security control is strong enough to protect your data. And the last scenario is that when you are renewing any of your services, we also encourage you to perform risk assessment to know whether the new scope of your services also can help you to meet the compliance obligations. And so I talk a lot about the scenario, who should perform risk assessment, the benefit, and now we want to really introduce Compliance Manager to you. So I'm gonna play this video to have a quick introduction of Compliance Manager.
I am Keith Twomey. I am a solution architect by trade, and I'm a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional. I want to introduce you to Compliance Manager, a cross-Microsoft cloud services solution designed to help you simplify your compliance journey with 3 key capabilities. There's ongoing risk assessment, giving you visibility into your compliance performance with a risk-based score reference. From a single dashboard, see your compliance stature across Microsoft Cloud Services, including Office 365, Azure, and Dynamics 365. You can create assessments for the regulation or standard that matters to your organization, GDPR, ISO, and more. It's a really powerful tool. This enterprise software is the first of its kind. You get actionable insights, including detailed information about what Microsoft does to secure your data and be compliant with regulatory requirements. and recommended actions to improve your data protection capabilities. Compliance Manager helps you to build the connection between technology solutions and regulatory requirements, so you can use the right tools to accelerate your compliance journey.
So that just greases the wheels for a lot of efficiencies for me.
Finally, there's simplified compliance. You can easily assign tasks and collaborate across teams. Track and record your compliance activities and upload your evidence, which helps you streamline your workflow and prep for auditing with detailed audit-ready reports. Compliance Manager helps you manage your compliance from just one place.
I think Microsoft is both a technology company and a people company
that focuses on solving real-world business process challenges that people face. Use it today at the Microsoft Service Trust Portal.
So, as Keith said, we are trying to solve a key business process issue here. As you are aware of, a lot of you has first-hand experience. Compliance is not just a single team's work. It is work across various different teams. You have IT team, a lot of you are IT pros, tenant admins. You have a security team. You have a compliance and audit team, and all these teams need to be coming together. And so we said, we internally at Microsoft has trying to solve this problem because we have to be compliant with a lot of regulations across the globe, and you will see those list of 70+ regulations that we have been compliant with in last few months or last few years. And we said, how can we share all the innovation that we created internally for Microsoft? So that's how we came to creating Compliance Manager. We wanted to make sure that we share our actionable insights that we take inside for managing a lot of the same controls, which are joint responsibility. And then lastly, we are trying to create a one single place for all of your team to understand, be on same page, and collaborate together. So those were kind of a focus areas. So currently, Compliance Manager started with few risk assessment with a lot of work from Scott and team. We have now broadened the Compliance Manager assessments to 12 different assessments, and they go across from NIST 853 to 171, NIST CSF. We just introduced Cloud Security Alliance CCM standard. We have HIPAA, we have FedRAMP moderate, and we are going to continue to add the new assessment. We also introduced the latest assessment for Azure Government. So those of you who use the Azure Government Cloud, you will be able to use that assessment as well. So we are going to invest in Compliance Manager in terms of content perspective. But here we wanted to take a step back and kind of walk you through a demo, and we are going to do a quick role play to realistically simulate how it happens in a real world. So I'm going to be a compliance officer or a privacy officer, and Scott here is going to be a tenant admin, and we are going to show you how quickly we can collaborate and go actually from understanding the requirement, configuring those requirements, evidencing those requirements, and then demonstrating the compliance to internal, external auditors, or even in some cases, regulators. So to use Compliance Manager, you come to Service Trust Portal, and we have all the links in the deck. You go to Compliance Manager, and in Compliance Manager, you will see there are certain set of assessments are already created for you. And as we add more and more assessment, you will see some of the assessments that your colleague may have created in Compliance Manager. But let's say in this case, I want to add a new assessment. So I basically go and click Add Assessment. Over here, I create a group. I ask whether I want to create a group. And group is important concept. We wanted to make Compliance Manager assessment scale. So you can use group concepts in a multiple ways. One is that, let's say, if you are doing a periodic assessment, let's say if you're doing Office 365 ISO assessment for 2018, and then you're going to again do it in 2019. So you can create a different groups, so you can create a different instances of the same assessment. Furthermore, let's say if you have a different business units, you have a business unit in North America, you have a business unit in Asia, you have a business unit in Europe. Now you can use the group concept to create a different instances of your assessment for different groups if you need to. And then finally, for those who use our Azure subscriptions, I'm sure you guys are using multiple Azure subscriptions. And we are introducing this group concept, or we have introduced the group concept to basically you manage the assessment for different subscriptions. So when you create a group, one time you are given a choice of taking existing details such as implementation details, testing plans, and the evidence that you have collected for the controls or actions that are you're responsible for one time, so that you can reuse those if you choose to. And it's mutually exclusive, so that you can choose whether you want to just take implementation detail from current assessment, or you wanted to take just evidences from current assessment to your new assessment. Today, I'm going to show you how we are going to use the existing group. So I selected existing group here. And then I basically go and then select the product. As I said, currently, Compliance Manager is available for Office 365, Azure, Dynamics 365, Professional Services, and Azure Government. And then once you select, let's say, Office 365, it shows you all the available assessment for that product. So these are the currently available assessments for Office 365. We just launched NIST CSF, so I'm going to just take NIST CSF. And when I say add to dashboard, the new tile is created at the end of your existing tiles. And these tiles give you few data points snapshot right here in dashboard. One, it gives you the score. And if you see the score, even if you have not taken any actions, you already have incurred a lot of score, in most of the cases more than majority. And this score is basically coming from the actions that Microsoft has taken. For example, Office 365 CSA CSM. This is our latest assessment that we ship. More than 133 actions are taken care by Microsoft. So the score of 565 out of 787 is coming from those actions. Now, we also articulated here that you as a customer or tenant need to be configuring or taking 46 distinct actions. So let's go into details. So as a compliance officer or privacy officer, go inside Compliance Manager. First and foremost, I understand what are the in-scope services. Depending upon the regulations, your in-scope service is going to change. And a lot of times our customers kept asking us, okay, tell us clear answer of which are the services are compliant with which standards. So that's the information we provide here. Then for each of those 133 Microsoft controls, in case of CSA, CSM, CCM, for each of these control, we are giving you information about how that control was implemented, a detailed technical implementation details as and when the technical control is there, and the test plan of our third-party independent auditors, how they tested our controls. And this kind of details in unparalleled. We have not seen any major cloud service provider provide this information in a self-service format. And we want to be transparent. Not only we stop here, across our more than 1,200 control, as Tina said, we do have findings. And we have 3 controls for which we have findings. And you will be able to, in Compliance Manager, filter your view to just see which controls has findings. And for each of those 3 findings, we have detailed what that finding is about, what risk we have understood about those findings, what mitigating actions we have taken. And so we want to be very transparent with you so that you can understand as a cloud service provider how we are protecting data that you gave it to us. Now, you would say, okay, this is great, but tell me what I need to do as a tenant. And that's where we see the customer managed controls. In customer managed controls, you are able to see for, again, each and every control, actions that you need to take. So as a compliance manager or privacy manager, I will click and I will start understanding what are the actions. Now, actions can be procedural and actions can be technical. In this case, one of the things I want to point out is that I am trying to satisfy the control for CSA, CCM. But if you see, there are related controls. And in related controls, you see ISO 27018, GDPR, NIST 800-171, FedRAMP Moderate, and NIST 853. So what we have done is that we have built an internal mapping of all the actions that satisfy these regulations. And we have made sure that you get credit for that. So when you perform just single action here, you are actually satisfying all those controls. So today you are creating CSA, CSM assessment. But tomorrow, if you create ISO 27018 or GDPR assessment, you will see that all the implementation detail and the evidence that you collected for this control already reflects there. So that's what we wanted you to do, a very minimum possible work to achieve the compliance, just like how Microsoft engineering teams do. So I'm a compliance officer. I click on this link. I understand, okay, how to set up a MFA, and I realize that I need my tenant admin to configure that. So I come back. I assign this control to my tenant admin. And over here, we have a concept of priority. So if you see, for each of the controls, we have defined a score, and that score is developed across 15 different factors to understand what is the risk of that control failure. So you can use that score, which is higher is the riskier if it fails or not implemented, as a one yardstick, or we understand that your organization can have a different risk yardstick. You can apply that yardstick to select the priority. In this case, I'm going to say it's a medium priority, and then I'm going to have a note here to Scott of what I would like his help to implement with, and then I just say assign. And when I assign, this control is now assigned to Scott.
Great, thanks, Om. So I'm the administrator now, and I've just come back from lunch, and I'm going to log into my desktop and check my email like I normally do. And I get this email that's automatically been sent to me by a compliance manager with the action item that Om has just assigned to me. I can read the information here, but it's really best if I go and see it in the dashboard. So I'm just going to click the link that says View Action Item Assigned to You. That will take me right to the Action Items dashboard. This is the second dashboard that we have in Compliance Manager. The first one that you saw before with the tiles is the assessment dashboard. We're looking at the action items dashboard, and you've seen Om only assign me one action, but you can see several actions that are listed here. Now, this could be for a couple reasons. Maybe other people assigned them to me, maybe Om assigned previous ones to me. But in this case, what's happening is, as Om mentioned, there are related controls to the control he just assigned to me to implement. So all of the tasks from all the related controls and other assessments, whether we're actually doing those assessments actively or not, are going to be assigned also to me, because that one action will satisfy that control across a wide variety of standards and regulations. So I can look at the dashboard. I'm looking at all action items, but since he assigned me CSA/CCM and I'm doing that work, I can just switch to that view of the dashboard and see just that one item that he assigned to me. But again, going back, because all those things have been assigned, once I implement this one thing, I've implemented all of them. So I can go ahead and look at the information. I can see the customer actions. This is what Microsoft recommends that I do. I can read the information. Om already showed you the support link that's on there, but in this case, I'm following the numbered steps there. And one of the numbered steps, step number 2, is in fact to click the link, which will take me right to the Azure Active Directory portal blade, where I can in fact configure multi-factor authentication for all of the users as requested by Compliance Manager. And it's a fairly easy process at this point. Now, of course, we are showing you the GUI. We're not forcing you to use that, though. For those of you who prefer to use PowerShell, you could go ahead and do this by PowerShell. But either way, we're trying to take you to the most convenient way to do this. And I kind of think the most convenient way is to just check the box for everyone at once, click Enable, say yes to the confirmation, wait a few minutes for it to do it, and say the updates are successful. And at this point, I've now enabled multi-factor authentication for everybody in my organization. And more to the point, I've implemented the control per the requirements in Compliance Manager. Once I'm done with that, though, there's a little bit more work we want you to do in Compliance Manager, things like uploading evidence. That evidence could be something like a screenshot of that portal blade showing everybody enabled. It could also be a PowerShell output if you prefer to use PowerShell for that as well. In this case, I've just got a canned screenshot. I'm just going to upload, grab it right from my local file system, attach it in there, and upload it right to Compliance Manager, where it's stored in protected storage for your tenant. Once I'm done with that, since I've implemented the control, I need to record that. So I'm going to go to the implementation details field and write down exactly what I did. I enabled MFA for all my users. And then I'm also going to suggest a test plan. It doesn't have to be the exact test plan that the assessor goes through, but this is how I'm going to suggest that they verify it. Just go ahead and look at a bunch of users or have them log in, and that will verify that, in fact, MFA has been implemented. Once I've done that, the last thing for me to do is to mark this control as implemented. That's just a quick drop down, and then choose the date on which I implemented it. And then once I'm done with that, I've completed the entire task as assigned to me, including recording the implementation and test details and uploading evidence. And now at this point, I'm ready to reassign it back to Om so that he can go ahead and assess the work, verify that I've actually done it. So I reassign it to Om. I decided to keep the same priority that he used before. Makes most sense to me. And again, I've got the option to add some notes. So I'm going to go ahead and replace his notes with my notes. And notice the checkbox there by default will send email notifications, so you don't have to sit in Compliance Manager to see when something's assigned to you. We'll automatically send you a message. Once I'm done with that, I click Assign, and off it goes to Om, and my portion of that task is done, and that control is implemented.
So now I come back, I'm logging in, and lo and behold, Scott has configured MFA. So I see that I have to use my MFA. I use my MFA, and then log in. Since I was able to test MFA, and this is one of the quick controls to test, not all the testing will be dynamics. I'm able to confirm that MFA is configured. Now, in a lot of controls, the evidence won't be tested dynamically like this. And so, as Scott said, the amount of evidence that you uploaded in managed documents will be helpful for compliance officer and privacy officers to validate your evidence. But since I have tested it dynamically, I go ahead and say test date, and I set the test results. Now, once I do that, I get to see that for the CSA CCM, I have finished one of my assignments or one of the controls, and I got the credit of the score. My score has increased. Now, imagine if you are now understood what are your actions. If you finish all of the rest of the 45 actions that are on you, then you can use the export functionality in Compliance Manager and create a report that basically talks about how you can see all the information details from the Microsoft managed controls, and you can also see the information details on the customer managed controls. And in customer managed controls, you will see that the evidence that you have uploaded, the links to those evidence will be available to you there as well. And those links will be protected. Those links will be only available for people you have assigned access in Compliance Manager. So that brings me to making sure that you understand that we have a role-based access control configured for Compliance Manager. And a lot of times we get questions from our existing customers of how I can control the access to Compliance Manager because they don't want all of their organization to do that. And we have various roles here. We have reader, contributor, assessor, administrator, and portal admin. And based on the access that you have granted to a particular role, rest of your organization goes by default in a guest role. So they can only see the information that is provided by Microsoft, which is publicly available as long as you have Azure Active Directory. Just to emphasize, Compliance Manager is a free tool. You can use it right away as long as you have just Azure Active Directory identity. And you can get that identity based on you are using any Microsoft Cloud services, or in fact, even if you create a trial subscription, you'll get it for free. So once you assign a role here to any of your user, the rest of the users will be automatically guests. So that's how you control the access. And how you do that in Compliance Manager is you are able to, let me see just quickly. So slides. Okay. Pardon me. I'm trying to. That's interesting. Okay. Just give me a second. It looks like
what happened.
Some of our slides are taking time to load. Just give me a quick minute here. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so my apologies, but some of our slides decided to hide themselves. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to switch track. But just to wrap up, you can go to the admin settings in the Compliance Manager, and you will have a menu of settings where you can go and assign these roles to various users. But that's what we have today in Compliance Manager. What you see, that's available for you to consume right away. But we want to talk about what is coming. And there are few things that we are trying to focus on. One is basically trying to figure out how we can improve the performance of Compliance Manager. And we are actively working on this. We know sometimes you see some latency, so we are working on that. But same time, we are also thinking about how we can bring all the goodness we have in Security and Compliance Center, in M365 Admin Center, and bring them into perspective of data protection and compliance. So I wanted to quickly show you what that looks like and how we can create easy buttons for you. So for example, when you come to the new Microsoft 365 Security and Compliance Center that's going to be get launched, GA'd later this year or early next year, you will see the Compliance Manager widget right there itself on the Compliance Center. And this work is already ongoing. And when Compliance Center goes GA, you will see that there as well. Then more of that, not only there, we are going to also create a dashboard in Security and Compliance Manager, which will start giving you a combination of regulations, and for each of the regulations, what features within Security and Compliance Center and Admin Center that you can use. And those features are will be categorized either as a different regulation. So for example, for ISO, GDPR, and NIST, what features you can use to improve your score through the regulation context, or you will be able to see those features categorized as a various categories of features, like privacy features, data governance features. So if you as a tenant admin or IT pro are more comfortable with working through the features and not worry about regulations, you will get this view too. But on top of that, we want to start creating automation. So for example, let's say if you click on data governance score, and if you try to say, I want to improve my score, immediately you will start seeing the detailed instructions of what are different features that you can use to improve your score. You will also see that what recommendations we have, and some of those recommendations will also see if you have done the work in secure score. So we are combining the secure score and compliance manager / compliance score functionalities and let them talk to each other. So let's say if you have already done some work in secure score, that will reflect here. Plus, we will also have showing you some default actions that for which you got the score. So when you use Security and Compliance Center features, by default, you are enabled for certain actions. And you will see, because of those actions, how you are getting some points. Let's say you have taken the example of a particular feature that you want to enable, in this case, classifying GDPR content. What we will do is that, and these are some of the conceptual ideas, but this is what we are working on, we will create a one-click activation button for you. And when we do that, we will clearly articulate what that button will do for you, so you understand before you click the button. In this case, it will create a label, it will set immutability, and it will set a retention period. And then when you say click, now you have already implemented that control. You are ready to assign that control for a validation to auditors that are defined based on the RBAC access within your organization. And once you're done that, your job as IT pro or tenant admin is done. You clearly see that your score will increase by 50 points after your auditor performs the validation. So this is kind of a North Star for us. You will see as Compliance Center, Security and Compliance Center goes GA, you will see start getting the Compliance Manager widget there so that you can see that. And then immediately after that, we're going to start working on these scenarios where we combine the intelligence across Secure Score and us. We also come up with various easy buttons for you so that you can then do your job very quickly and efficiently, and same time get credit towards various data protection and governance regulations. So that brings me to the Compliance Manager Toolkit. And some of you, I hope, based on the links and the documentation that we provided to you, will start using Compliance Manager right away. But my colleague Francois spent a lot of time to, if for some of you, if you need a concentrated toolkit which can get you going fast, he has spent time on building that. So Francois, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Om. You like what you've seen? It is afternoon. Yes, thank you. I want to shift gears a little. We talked about features, functionality of Compliance Manager, and over the last year, I've been working with a lot of partners and their customers in implementing Compliance Manager. As a matter of fact, the case you saw, the video case on Abrona, my slides are
this one, yeah.
Yep. The video case you've seen on Abrona was one of the partners I worked with. And what we learned was we have a product, we have a lot of features and functionality. We describe that in all detail. We provide all kinds of guidance on the internet. What we also provide is technical guidance, our documents on how to exactly configure it. But there's one piece missing, and that's a question I got from many of the partners I have been working with. How do I successfully engage in a compliance manager project with my customer? Because what you've just seen Om do and Scott in their role play was address one control, and that was an easy control. Enabling MFA is a very simple and straightforward control. But if you look at the guidance that compliance manager is providing, some of it can be very extensive. Some of it might involve changing procedures within the organization and how people work. And as you've seen, the number of controls a customer has to address, sometimes 20, 30, 50, is ever increasing because we learn new things and we provide new guidance. How do you structurally benefit from everything that's in Compliance Manager? So what we did is we built what we call a toolkit. And basically this is a set of tools, and what these tools are I will show you later on, that can help you start on an engagement around Compliance Manager. I've been a consultant for 15, 20 years, and what I always found to be the hardest part in an engagement was the first couple of days. Because your customer comes to you with all kinds of expectations because you were hired, you are the expert, please help me fix my problem or address my problem or do something. And then you have to start to think of what would be the best approach? What can I do? How can I best do this? How will I start? What greatly helped me was if there was somebody who had done it before. Typically what I did was I started looking for colleagues or other people that did it before, got their information, started reading, got ideas, and at the end ended up with something completely different, but that part really helped me. And that's basically what the Compliance Manager is about. It is a ready-to-use toolkit with all kinds of materials that we expect you to need during your engagement. What we've done is we built a 4-step engagement, and I'll take you through the 4 steps in the next couple of slides. And it's simply starting from scratch, your first step in engaging with the customer to really using Compliance Manager, implementing all the controls that you need to do, and then being audited. As I said, it's ready, and you can use it as is. It is, in essence, partner-focused. Partners can use this, but we've opened it up for everybody. We've seen large customers, we've seen customers download it, use it, or even use it to select a partner to work with them. Because although the partner might have his own way of implementing and working with this, they have the knowledge, the customer knows their own environment, and together they can make this a success. So use it as is or completely turn it into something else, but I hope that you can use it as a jumpstart. So if we look at this toolkit, what is it? What is in there? It all starts with the delivery guide, and I think that's the most important part of that whole toolkit. It's a Word document that describes every single step that we think you should take to implement and use the guidance in Compliance Manager. And what it does is it provides a step-by-step guidance outlining every question you should possibly have. What is this step intended to do? What are the goals? How do I prepare? Where do I read? What do I read? But also, where can I find the information to configure Compliance Manager if needed? We have not put any technical information in the document, but we provided links to the information that is out there. You've seen Scott, or you heard Oom talk about RBAC roles. Our TechNet provides insight in what the RBAC roles are and how to configure them. What we provide you with is the different roles in an organization, and we will provide you with suggestions like this type of role might be this type of RBAC role. That's the kind of information to expect. Duration, outcome, tips and tricks. During the different steps in the engagement, you'll probably also need presentations. Presentations that will help you introduce your engagement and get going. What we do is we provided a couple of templates that will have all the information you need. For example, parts of the Compliance Manager slides that you've seen here today are in that presentation, because you might be talking to a customer that has never seen Compliance Manager in detail. If he has, take it out and skip it, but use everything that's there. It will also describe the whole engagement and everything you want to do at that time. Last but not least, if you're a partner and you want to use the kit, but you also want to sell it or maybe offer it to your customer, there's a template for a statement of work that you can use to build your offer on. If you look at the approach, and as I said, we try to make it as simple as possible. It's a 4-step approach. It all starts with your initial contact with your customer, your initial startup, where you outline what it is you're going to do, and you ask them to prepare before you actually start. As you can see, there's a template in there for a presentation that will help you introduce everything you're going to do, and it will basically help you to get started.
And Francois, if may I add, this same template can be used by our large customers to do the same preparation internally within their teams. Because when you use compliance manager to solve your business process around compliance, you will be able to use this template and make sure that using components of this template, you make other teams aware of what we are trying to do so that everybody kind of get trained and effectively use compliance manager. Back to you.
Very good remark. What we're typically seeing is, especially if the customers get larger, the whole partner motion of an external partner seems to blend in with the internal teams. And internal teams are basically working together in the same way as partners. So it could well be that you use this internally. We started off with a partner focus, but we're more and more seeing that our customers are also using it directly. One of the benefits of, to me, seem like one of the biggest benefits of using a partner in this story is their added value of specific knowledge, for example, around compliancy, around standards or technology. So the moment we start, we basically start with enabling your compliance manager within your tenant or within the customer's tenant. We start defining our assessments, and we make sure that we have everything we need to get started on Compliance Manager. And this is the time where it really gets interesting. The next step, the assess step. What we do is, Oom didn't show it in the demo, but the moment you've done your assessment, you can export all the information to an Excel sheet. That Excel sheet will give you a complete overview of all the controls that you need to implement, the reasons why and what to do and how to do it. What we're doing is we're using that in a structured way in a customer workshop where we will guide the customer through every single control. And we're deciding on each and every control, is this something that we need? Is this something that we're going to do? What would be the priority of implementation? Who would need to do that? Everything we need to do to address these controls. And by the end of that workshop, we will have basically we'll have a shopping list or a project list of actionable items that will show all the work that we need to do to improve our compliance posture around Office 365, Microsoft 365. Once we've done that, it's time to start taking the actions and start working on it. We've seen the MFA implementation takes about 10 minutes. I think in real life it's a little more, but there are implementations of our controls that take a way longer time of implementation. That's what we're doing. We defined all these actionable items and little projects. That's the follow-up. And that will be a continuous process after the workshop. And last, of course, when we've implemented these controls, we will be constantly monitoring. There will be a time where people will ask me, are you doing the right thing? Show me that you've done the right thing. You've seen Oom and Scott in their role play, uploading evidence, showing what they did, providing all kinds of information on how they implemented it and how they tested it. Well, it's time to report on exactly that information. And that will be an ongoing cycle of updating and checking controls. Am I still compliant or not? How can we update that and make sure that we're heading in the right way? That's basically the whole approach, a very simple 4-step approach with all the materials and guidance in there. If we look at a sort of a timing, basically the whole toolkit can be categorized in 2 buckets. Bucket number 1 is almost a fixed time engagement. It's about 2 weeks where we use the information and guidance from Compliance Manager to define our list of actions, projects, follow-up that we need to do. And then After that, we will start the real work of implementing these controls, and that can be everything from a couple of weeks till maybe 2 or 3 years, depending on the organization. That's the second part. The ongoing audit and control part, yeah, that's a small task, but will be a returning task. With that, I want to hand it back to Scott. Thank you very much. Before I leave the stage, I want to point you to the URL. It's in the last slide, the resources slide, aka.ms/CM Toolkit. You can download it. It's open for everybody. It's not gated or restricted. I encourage you to download the content, have a look at it, and use it to your advantage. Thank you.
Great. Thanks. Thank you, Francois. All right, let's change gears a little bit. We've been talking about largely Compliance Manager and the Compliance Manager Toolkit. Those are the primary resources with which you'll create self-service assessments of cloud services. You do them at your own pace. We provide you all the information on the Microsoft side, and when you can, you implement the controls and complete an assessment. But that is just the tip of the iceberg of the transparency and trust-related resources that we make available to you. So I want to take some time and talk about just the compliance offerings we have across not just our cloud services, but really in terms of our portfolio being the largest in the industry. We have a very strong commitment to compliance. Tina mentioned that there's more than 1,000 controls in NIST 853, but all across the various internal Microsoft control frameworks, we've got almost 2,000 controls that have been implemented across Azure, across Office 365, across Dynamics 365, and so forth. And what's important is that this is not an American thing or a European thing. This is a global thing. We're looking at standards and regulations all around the world within not just our compliance portfolio, but also in terms of adding them later on into the Compliance Manager assessment family. The other thing to remember is that the last slide focused on the Microsoft compliance offerings. If we just look at one of our cloud services like Office 365, which doesn't even have the largest portfolio of all of them. Azure's got a larger portfolio. But if we just look at Office 365, you can see we've got global coverage. We've got regional coverage. We've got US government coverage. In fact, quite extensive US government coverage across our cloud services. And we also have industry specific as well. Again, many of these standards and regulations have already made their way into Compliance Manager as assessments you can use today.
So Scott, if I may, I see some of our next content is focused on the risk and compliance. I was wondering, for those who have used Compliance Manager, those who are the tenant admins or IT pro here, if you have specific questions around Compliance Manager, we can take those questions quickly now, and we go over that, and then we can complete the Service Trust Portal side of things. Are there any questions that, or any feedback? Yes, you can come to the mic, sir.
Hi, thank you. In none of those slides I saw PCI compliance. Are you planning to put it into the Compliance Manager as well?
Sure. So Azure complies with PCI. And for Azure, we are working with Azure team to basically come up with the assessment in Compliance Manager that will focus on PCI. The PCI compliance for Office is under consideration. Currently, if you see, our guidance is that you shouldn't store PCI sensitive information in Office 365, but we are working towards thinking about having PCI compliance around Office, and if that happens, we will have a Office 365 PCI assessment as well.
It is also worth noting with respect to Office 365 and PCI compliance, the commerce portion of Office 365, the portion you put your credit card number in to pay us, that part is PCI compliant. It's just SharePoint Online, Exchange Online. We haven't done anything for PCI compliance for those workloads. Yes.
Yes, please.
Leave it for.
I was wondering where are we at with Compliance Center for GCC high tenants?
So in terms of the Compliance Center, you're talking about the Security and Compliance Center or Compliance Manager?
Both, actually.
So Security and Compliance Center, we'll take that and we will get back to you. I don't know that. I have to ask that team. But for Compliance Manager, we are actually going through the paces so that we can start shipping the same features for GCC High customers too. So we are getting two approaches. So one, we ourselves are going through internal compliance, so we need to be comply with the GCC High ourselves as a team. So we are working to those spaces. But same time, what we plan to do is basically create the content and at least share that content with you in a document format sooner. And then as we ourselves become our whole infrastructure that has compliance manager shipped, that becomes the GCC High compliant, we will basically ship in GCC High as well. As of now, we don't have a firm timeline, but the earliest we will have the compliance manager shipping will be next year. But we will try to focus on giving you the guidance for the GCC High before we are able to actually ship whole compliance manager in GCC High.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
The product as such looks great, but are there any plans to allow third parties to add their compliance reports into this? Like Adobe, what have you?
I'm sorry, but
There's a loud noise back here right when you were talking. If you could just
repeat your question.
The product as such looks great, but are there any plans to add third parties to add their compliance statuses to this?
Sure. So one of the things, the feature roadmap we are trying to work on is to let you as a customer, or if you're working with partner, add your own controls. So for example, today, if you are doing an ISO 27th assessment, we have just prescribed 133 odd controls that ISO provides us as a standard. But early next year, you will be able to basically add, let's say if you want to add 10 more controls, which are more of controls that your organization tracks, but you want to add as a part of ISO 27000 assessment, you will be able to do that. We'll also give you container to create your own assessment for non-Microsoft Cloud products. So for example, if you wanted to do the on-premise assessment for your on-premise Office subscription, you will be able to do that. Now, to be very transparent, we are going to work with partners to bring the content, but we will give you ability as a container in Compliance Manager so that, let's say, if you have more than Microsoft Cloud, you will be able to use Compliance Manager to combine all the assessments across your IT infrastructure and manage them in a Compliance Manager. Okay, any other questions before we move back to the Service Trust Portal section?
I have one.
Oh, yes, please.
You mentioned GA, or when it's GA. Could you clarify what is available today versus what will be?
Oh, sure. No, thank you for asking. And let me clarify. So what you saw in our demo that between me and Scott is available today. You can go to ak.ms WAC Compliance Manager, and you will be able to consume all that. So that functionality exists today. What did I show you in terms of our demo on that I just did myself on Security and Compliance Center and the widget and the easy buttons? That is our future roadmap. But before that, whatever I showed you in terms of creating new assessments, using group functionality, assigning the assessments, and uploading the evidence, and then exporting the report, all that functionality is available today, and you can start using it today. Okay.
Yeah, it's also worth pointing out that it's free for everyone with any Azure Active Directory account. So that could be a paid account, a trial account. So if you don't even have a cloud service yet, you can get a trial account, and then you'll have an instance of Compliance Manager for your own tenant to try out before you actually have to purchase.
Thanks, Scott, for a detour. Back to you.
Sure. All right. So we talked a little bit about the tools that we have, but again, that's just the tip of the iceberg in terms of the resources that we have available for you. We also talked about earlier about how Microsoft is a business process problem-solving company. Might interest you to know that sometimes the problems we're solving are actually of our own making, and things around the Trust Center and the STP are one of those problems that we're trying to work on right now, because we know there is a lot of customer confusion as to which site you should go for which information. You can see some of the common questions we get from customers all the time, and we've actually had the answers to all of this information published on several websites for quite some time, but still people have a challenge trying to find them. So we'll try to break down those barriers for you today. And we'll talk about the different trust resources that we have depending on where you are at your review lifecycle stage. So you might just be at the beginning. You might just want to know, well, what certifications does the cloud service I'm interested in have? What does Microsoft do to to protect my data? Where's my data located? Who has access to it? Pretty basic questions that we might consider discovery-oriented, if you will. And then eventually you're going to get a little more deeper, and you're going to be interested in not just where your data is located or who has access to it, but how we protect it from being moved to somewhere it shouldn't be, or how we protect it from some form of unauthorized access as well. That'll be more in the consider phase. And then once you've adopted cloud services, you will want to get into a regular cadence of risk assessments, because even though the majority of work in terms of data protection is done by us in the shared responsibility model, there's still a small minority of work that you're responsible for, and only you can do things for your own tenant. So we've got a couple places where you can go to. We talked about Compliance Manager. Compliance Manager actually lives in the Service Trust Portal, so we'll talk a little bit more about the Service Trust Portal. But I also want to talk a little bit about the Trust Center itself. This is the Microsoft.com, the corporate portal that we have for all things trust-related. This is where we try to demonstrate the most transparency possible by answering all those questions in detail, and not just providing you with answers, but also providing you with links to things like third-party independent audit reports. So you can see that everything that we say has actually been independently verified year after year as we go through our audit cadence. Now, you're looking at the home page of the Trust Center, and you may have seen various implementations of this, because we try to change it up and keep it fresh from time to time. But right now, this is what we're showing on the home page. The Trust Center basically breaks down into 4 pillars: security, privacy, compliance, and transparency, with transparency really being the pillar that underpins everything. We're really trying to build trust the best way possible, and we think the best way possible is by demonstrating transparency. Now, depending on your role in your organization, you're going to find different areas of the Trust Center more appropriate for your needs. So, for instance, if you're a security officer, you'd start with the security officer space. If you're a governance and privacy officer, maybe you're not as technical, but you still need to know about data governance and privacy and data protection. And if you're a business decision maker, again, you might just want to know about the audit reports, verify that Microsoft is compliant before you sign off on the deal. That would be for you as well. And of course, for large regulations that take the world by storm, like the GDPR has done for the last couple of years, we've got whole sections in the Trust Center devoted to content that is not just informational for you, but also actionable for you in terms of things like data protection impact assessments and data subject requests and all the other things you need to now do under the GDPR. Now, there's lots of places where you can go to learn about security and privacy. I'm not going to walk you through the whole website. I would much prefer that you do that yourself. But I will point out that in addition to this event, you might be interested in other events, and security and compliance events are things that we advertise directly on the Trust Center as well to hope to get your interest. And a lot of these are smaller events that aren't widely advertised, and many of them are coming to local areas near you as well. So keep tabs on those events. Again, various areas as we walk through them, basically the pillars, and then we've got product-oriented trust sites. The product-oriented trust sites actually came first, and they were later consolidated into the Microsoft.com trust site as well. So now we've got just one portal for you to go for that 100 to 200 level information. Beyond that, though, we would want to get you over to the compliance offerings. This is probably the biggest, the meatiest area of the Trust Center. This is where you can filter by industry, filter by the global regulations, filter by product or service, and get at a glance all the compliance offerings that include information such as what services are in scope for that offering and links to the audit reports that verify that compliance as well. And here's just a couple examples, looking at things like the SOC reports, probably some of our most popular reports that are downloaded. Here we're looking at them through the Trust Center, but if you scroll and you go and you actually find the link for audit reports and you click on one of those, we're actually going to take you over to the Service Trust Portal, because this is what we call controlled information. So controlled information requires you to authenticate to the Service Trust Portal. Authentication is simply using that same Azure AD account that you would use to go to Compliance Manager. In fact, if you look at the top of the screen, you can see the second link up the top is for Compliance Manager. And if you go to Compliance Manager or any other protected resource, you'll simply have to authenticate in order to get it. Once you've authenticated, you can sign in, and then in this case, that report would download for you. So what we're looking at now is the home page of the Service Trust Portal, or what we call the STP. aka.ms/STP is the URL to get there. You can also look up Service Trust Portal if you can't remember that, but it's pretty easy. If you look at it, we try to keep things current and relevant with all the changes we've made both to the STP site and Compliance Manager right on the home page, so you can see at a glance. We do have in the support documentation a larger change log for Compliance Manager, so if you're interested in any controls that have been added or removed from assessments, which we've done since we've GA'd, you'll want to keep tabs of that through the support documentation as well. Now, we look at this site as really the fastest way to streamline your compliance processes, and not just through using Compliance Manager, but also by downloading and recording the audit reports that we make available, leveraging the data protection and privacy features that we have available throughout all of our cloud services. In fact, when you think about these portals, and in particular Compliance Manager, what we're really trying to do is just make the connection between regulatory requirements and the cloud service features that meet them. So as we go through the STP, you'll find a couple libraries that are available. One is called the trust documents. The other is called the data protection areas. The audit reports, that's where you'll find audit reports. No surprise there. The data protection area, that's where you're going to find a whole bunch of tools, a whole bunch of white papers, a whole bunch of Azure blueprints, and tons of other collateral that covers all of our cloud services and every aspect of regulatory compliance that affects them. We also have some regional compliance. It's very small right now, but we're working to build it up, so keep tabs on that as we add more and more things. If you have any particular needs for regional compliance, it's not visible here in the screenshot, but at the bottom of every page in the STP and in Compliance Manager is a feedback button. If you give us your feedback, I will personally read each piece of it, and I'll pass it on to the team as appropriate. So if there's something there you'd like us to add, some regional stuff that's missing that you think is important for your organization, let us know. We'll do our best to add it. And then, of course, there's all that GDPR privacy stuff that I mentioned, like the DPIA, the DSR, and all the other things that you can do. All right. Now, we also have fantastic search built right in, and the search looks across both protected and non-protected content. And in fact, you may get different search results whether you're logged in or not. Search is super convenient. You can type in your search words. You can then do things like filtering by cloud service, by region, by industry, and so forth. Search is actually up at the top. I went by it real fast. If you look at that little magnifying glass in the upper right-hand corner, you can click that. It says by default, search Service Trust Portal. You can type in the word encryption, and then we get our results there. And again, some of these results may be protected information. So when you go and click on one to download them, it may prompt you for authentication if you're not already signed in. And you can see in the upper right-hand corner, because it says signed in, I'm not signed in here yet. And in some cases, you're going to get a fairly extensive list of things that are returned. But with the filtering capabilities, you can go ahead and narrow that list down to just the things you're looking for. Maybe in this case, let's just search for encryption in the SOC reports and see how our encryption capabilities were audited during our most recent SOC audit. The audit reports don't just include SOC audits, but they also include archived reports for historical purposes. Typically, most customers don't just want to see your current report. They'd like a little history behind it, so they want to see other reports in the past. But we also do have FedRAMP reports, which are specifically for FedRAMP, ISO reports, PCI reports, which of course will cover Azure. And we've got GRC assessment reports, which is kind of a catch-all category for any other audit report from any other audit that we undergo anywhere in the world. And you can see this is quite a lengthy list. I mentioned the data protection resources. There's tons of them. The compliance guides, again, are things like white papers. Sometimes they are specific guidance. For instance, if you're familiar with Azure Blueprints, we've got Azure Blueprints there, which have been recently encoded into Compliance Manager as well. So if you have deployed your Azure infrastructure using one of their blueprints, then using Compliance Manager and performing Azure assessments just got a whole lot easier for you. And you can see, again, quite a long list of data protection reports. This is something that's been building up for years. What you're actually seeing is the third generation of this site. So there's quite a lot of collateral for you to go through here. And again, I'm not going to go through everything, but there's dedicated Azure security and compliance blueprints. There's also penetration tests and security assessments, both that were done internally and by external third parties that we've engaged as well. Probably beyond our audit reports, the most frequently downloaded document is our pen test and security assessment reports. People want to see how we were tested and how we fared. And we're very transparent. Any findings in any one of those pen tests are fully documented in that report with everything that Microsoft has to say about that, including possibly any plans of actions and milestones that we have to remediate them. And of course, a whole bunch of information related around GDPR again. Not going to go through all of it. I just want you to be aware that it's there. If you need to do a data subject request, or if you've received a data subject request and you need to process one, this is the area you want to go to figure out how to do it within our cloud services if that's where the data being requested is held. If you need breach notification, this is actually important. This should be actionable for everybody today. At the end of this session, one of the first things that you should do is go to the Azure Active Directory portal for your tenant and verify that you've got not just a technical contact listed, but also what we call a global privacy contact as well. That would be the contact that we use to notify you in the event of any breach affecting your tenant. Now, of course, if you haven't filled that out, we'll take the waterfall approach and notify the technical content or your global admin through the message center. But for privacy-related things, we did a lot of work under the GDPR to get that contact info in there, so we strongly recommend that you put it in there. There's also a second field right below that that you can use for your own custom privacy URLs. So if you've got your own privacy statement you want your users to see instead of a generic one from Microsoft, you can also populate that field with the URL. But the most important thing for you to do today is to go and fill in that global privacy contact. All right, and of course, we've got links to the Security and Compliance Center, links that will take you to the Azure Security Center, links that can even take you to Intune places, and links that talk about our global data centers, because a lot of the controls within Office 365, we actually inherit from the Microsoft organization that runs our data center. That's the group that exists within Azure. And so we publish a lot of information about our data centers, including what we call TVRAs, and those are risk assessments for our data centers that cover things like risks against political uprising or storms or natural events or intrusion or security, things like that and so forth. Lots and lots of resource. And then last area is just the FAQ, the frequently asked questions that we have consolidated for both the STP in one place and Compliance Manager together, so you can just browse that all in one place. I do strongly recommend reading the fact. I know it kind of sounds corny, but I can tell by the feedback that we've gotten that people are not reading the FAQ, because one of the more common questions we get from some of the materials we make available is that when I download it, it's blank. Okay? The issue is that some of these documents that we make available to you are PDF files, and the PDF files have JavaScript license agreements that you have to agree to before you could read the document. If you don't agree to it, or more importantly, if you're not using a PDF reader that supports JavaScript, like Microsoft Reader, for example, when you download the document, it will in fact appear blank. We have that completely covered in the FAQ, but it still catches people over and over. So please, take some time to read the FAQ. It's not that many questions, just a few things we want you to be aware of to make sure you get the best experience possible.
And you will ask why we do the JavaScript when there is an experience like that. Unfortunately, some of our reports, like SOC reports, our auditors have inserted those, and we cannot take those out. So that's the reason we are trying to basically satisfy both the
Yes, and that's all the reason, that's the same reason you need to authenticate in order to do that. We, by agreement with our auditors, we can't just hand out the reports. We need to have you under NDA, and we need to have you authenticated, and both those things happen when you sign into the Service Trust portal.
So I think we have almost reached our time. So we will probably not cover in detail the roadmap for the feature demos, but what we are taking the Compliance Manager and the STP, I will just summarize it. So on Compliance Manager side, we are going to add the automation to detect whether a control is implemented or not and give you credit. We will add intelligence from some of the other features like Secure Score and Security and Compliance Center, and we'll bring that into Compliance Manager. Or on the STP side, we will be focused more on making the site more readable, making site more clean, and we are going to have the industry focus sections. So for example, we will have a financial service focus section where you will have ability to get everything that you need if you're a financial services customer. And then we will have same areas for the government industry, same area for healthcare, same area for manufacturing. So all the main industries our customers are, we will be able to give you information specifically focused on those areas. So that's kind of our plan on making sure that we are giving you the best information that is required for you. And I would say, going back and summarizing the next steps, I think these are the slides that are available to you as well, but I will kind of quickly summarize that. So over here, you can go to ak.ms Compliance Manager. You are also able to download the Compliance Manager white paper. And we will highly recommend we use it, Trust Center and Service Trust Portal. And that bottom right-hand corner feedback button, it's very helpful for, as Scott said, we individually review all the feedback from you and try to incorporate that in our feature roadmap. So I would highly recommend you to use these links and go there. We have some more resources here. Again, you can download these slides. We have the videos, we have toolkit, we have deep dive documentation and videos that help you. And then there are some other relevant sessions that you can attend as well. And some additional resources around how you can use all of the Microsoft Cloud features, starting with Assess, which is Compliance Manager, then Protect, using some of those features that you may have attended the sessions for, and then in terms of Respond, using our advanced e-discovery features as well. So we wanted to bring all these features together. And again, our thought is that by giving you very easy access to all these features in context of data protection and regulatory compliance standard through Compliance Manager, we are able to make your business process, your compliance management easy. So thank you so much for that. And if we have any final question and answer, we will take that now. But thank you so much for coming and really appreciate all the feedback. Thank you.
I did have one question.
Oh, sure.
Over here.
OK, please.
Yep. Secure Score and Compliance Manager, we work a lot trying to keep our Secure Score up. Does that help the Compliance Manager score? Or if we spend all of our time in Compliance Manager, will that help our Secure Score? And there's a lot of scoring going on, and it changes, and it floats around. We kind of struggle with it.
No, absolutely. So as I said in my demo, we are working at this point to consume any actions that you will take in Secure Score that will reflect in Compliance Manager. That functionality is not there yet, just to be clear, but we are working on that. We realized as a customer, you wanted to have an interoperability between those two. So we will have that, and we'll also start sharing if you have taken the same action that is tracked in Secure Score, that already if you have taken in Compliance Manager, we will send that information back to Secure Score as well. So we will have interoperability between those two, so that wherever you do it, scores will increase. Another thing we are doing is that we are trying to align the scores that we have in Compliance Manager and Secure Score. So we will have a clear model of how your scores that you are getting in Secure Score are benefiting in Compliance Manager and vice versa. So yes, we are working on that. Thanks. Can you please use the mic? That would be helpful.
So I assume that there's common controls across a lot of them. Like the MFA is not going to only be in one, it's going to be in multiple. So in the Compliance Manager side, if I go through one and somebody approves it, that's going to be updated in all of them?
Yes. So for example, let's say if you're doing MFA, and that's a good example, what we would do is that if we detect you already done MFA in Secure Score, we'll just give you the implementation credit for that. But if you're not, the blade that you'll go to implement MFA will be the same blade that you use for Secure Score. So since you will do it in the same blade, the moment your Secure Score refreshes after you finish your MFA, it will increase Secure Score as well.
It's in future roadmap.
Yeah. It is. We are working on it. So it's not there today, but it will be.
But now in the compliance manager, if there's a bunch of common policies underneath them, tasks, and
Yeah.
Can I say I'm interested in these 6 controls and find the common tasks within it so I can then upgrade, like get the highest value?
Sure. So what we're doing is that, if I understand your question correctly, you want to understand what are the underlying actions and how much score you are getting for those actions. So you can take the actions which have highest score or highest control supported to it and prioritize those score actions. And once you implement that actions, you want to see your score appropriately reflect that you have already taken action. Is that?
Or no, more to find the common tasks in all of them. So
yes.
I have these 6 ones that I'm focusing on. Show me the ones that are common across those 6.
Sure,
That
absolutely.
happens-
So
yeah, that happens by default. We call those
Okay.
related controls.
Okay.
So whenever you've picked one thing, if you assign it to someone to implement, or if you've actually implemented, all that work will inure to every other related control for that. So you'll only have to do that action one time.
No, I mean,
The
can
score will
I highlight the 6 and then that will surface up to me the common tasks?
Sure,
in
yeah,
those 6?
absolutely. You choose the order in which you do that. If you want to focus on those 6 first, that is completely up to you.
I think what he's asking is, let's say if he choose 6 assessment, he wants to know what are the common set of actions across the assessment. Now, today how you see it is that you see the related controls field, and you get to see, okay, if I implement this action, not only it will satisfy this control, but this related controls. But I think what he's asking is about, give me some way to figure out, if I select 6 assessment in Compliance Manager, just show me the filtered actions which are satisfying across those. So that's a good feedback. We can certainly take that into consideration, figure out if we can actually implement that and make it more easier for you. Absolutely. Thank you so much. But thanks again. Oh, yeah, one more question, please.
Just a small comment. Compliance Manager and the portal, we used it to convince our management that Azure as well as O365, we can onboard with it because we have actually more proof as our current outsourcing partner, as IBM, as whatever you name it. So that was really a big tool to convince the higher management that we could go the first step forward into O365 and Azure. So I think you should mention that if you are not in yet. With this thing, you convince your management.
Absolutely. I think you just made my day. So, but I think we will make it clear. So, and Tina is my marketing manager. So between us and the rest of the gang, we'll make sure if it is not that clear, we'll make it clear that even if you are evaluating or not using Microsoft Cloud, use this to as a evidence of how we can make it secure. So thank you so much.
Yeah, first you have to convince your management.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Oh, one question.
Okay. Booth at the Expo Center. Downstairs, do you have a booth to demonstrate and talk to people?
Yeah, we have a booth where people will be able to demonstrate.
Compliance and GDPR. It's next to the Azure and GDPR booth, but go to the compliance and GDPR booth.
Okay.
There's that fancy thing in the middle with all the lights and the screens around it. It's just around that corner.
And if you have a question, we can take it. We can finish this session so that they stop recording, but we can talk to you.
My phone didn't work.
Thank you so much. I think we are closing the session, but we can take questions offline here. Thank you.
Thank you.